y'all, and I do happen to be taping from my new home, which I hope to give you like a semi-tour of later on, but we'll discuss that later. Today I'm here to talk about Django. The D is silent. I actually love the movie. I wanted to wait until the hype played down on it, and I went to go see it with a friend this week that had already seen it. And I'm like already wanting to go see the movie again. If you haven't been around, or if you've been hiding under a rock, you probably don't know that this movie has made like news headlines because so many people are outraged by the use of the racism, the N-word, the treatment of the people in the movie, specifically the slaves, the way that white people were portrayed in the movie. All of it, I mean, it's been a debate. I've been reading these debates. I've been looking at CNN News. It's been going down. You even got Spike Lee, who I think needs to have several seats, boycotting the movie because he said that no person like Quentin Tarantino could actually capture, I guess, the history correctly of his people not being black. Now, I tend to disagree. There will be some spoilers in this video, so let's get started. So first of all, Django is this slave who we open up the movie with him walking with other slaves. To make a long story short, those of you that have seen it, he's freed by a bounty hunter who also allows the other slaves to be freed as well that are on this particular journey because there was a bounty out for the men that he got. Now, the thing of the matter is this, there's a lot of death in this movie, so you're going to see a lot of people dying, especially white people. I counted more white people dying in this movie than black people, but what you did see was the savagery of slavery and the impact it had on the black people. So that is what a lot of people are upset about. However, I had no problem with this. This was in about 1858, was the circa, it was before the Civil War. It was about that time that these types of things was going down. As far as addressing the N-word, none of us can go back to that time and say that we actually had the liberty of being there and could count how many times the word nigger, because it was different, it's not like the glorified nigger word now, but how many times it was actually used. I'm pretty sure they heard a lot worse things several times a day. So I think Quentin Tarantino did a good balance of showing us just how much derogatory names, period, though the word nigga was used, excuse my language. For those of you all who are getting offended, it is what it is. It was in the movie. There were probably several others that were used that my ancestors, as an African-American woman, probably heard several times daily, over and over. There were derogatory statements and comments to them in their well-being. What I did like about this movie, and what I found that is not racist in, is that I think it really shines a light, a healthy light, on African Americans. Though we're still getting clouded by how many times the words were used and blah blah blah, what we did see was the sanctity of marriage. We saw that Jamie Foxx was fighting for Kerry Washington, who played his wife in this movie, and he fought literally till the end for his wife. If anything I can say, there's not a lot of movies that glorify African American marriage. And even back then, we really didn't know. A lot of people didn't know in history that there were slaves who did have makeshift marriages and weddings, and they were condemned for it. And a lot of times they were sold into slavery separately and known to get in trouble because they did believe in marriage. So I was happy that the movie showed that. He wasn't just fighting for any woman, he was fighting for his wife. So take that one. There was also a look at how, if we're gonna get mad about the way the N-word was used, and how the white counterparts in the movie, such as the KKK and all of those different people, were made to look dumb. What we saw was a lot of the white leading characters were actually backed by black characters. What it showed us was that a lot of times the white people who were ahead in that movie, a lot of times in history, right, were actually being led by the African Americans who they trusted. Because what we saw here was like Samuel L. Jackson. Y'all know he played the biggest Uncle Ruckus in this movie, the biggest Uncle Tom. Read your history book. In history here, Samuel scared scared me a little bit because he played this part a little too good, but he also played it as a man who, you know, who was lonely, old, and really didn't speak good English. But you notice how he perked up at the end of the movie. He had his swag on and he was talking like he was hard, and anytime he was talking to Django, the D is silent. He was able to talk well. Well, back in the day, that was a lot of times our way to survive. We didn't want to show how much we knew. We didn't want to show back in slavery all of our cards, because a lot of times the more strong you were seen as, the more of a threat you were. And so slaves weren't supposed to be educated. They weren't supposed to be able to read. They weren't supposed to be able to really stay in the house. But there were many of us that did make it there. And we had to protect the things that we knew in order to make it high among our masters. Yes, I did say "our" for those of us who are about to have a trippy fit. I wasn't back then. We clearly know I ain't almost 200 years old. However, what I am saying is my ancestors, however, did have to endure that. And so what I think I saw in this movie, instead of racism, was a good light on a heavy subject. The movie did what it could. None of us was back in 1858. I don't know about y'all, but was you chilling back in 1858? If y'all are, please send me a message, because I would love to interview you and find out more about you, because you really should be dead by now. It had to be racist. Why? Because it was a movie about slavery. And I don't think anybody stepped out of their car saying, "Ooh, I want to go see a good history lesson." I don't think anybody stepped into the theater saying, "Yeah, today is the day I'm going to learn a bunch of stuff that I learned from my history book." Exactly. Dude, this was Quentin Tarantino. He created Kill Bill, Pulp Fiction, all of those types of movies. And if anybody wants to say, "Yeah, I'm tired of the way he does blaxploitation. I'm so tired of the way he has black people talk." I mean, the reality of the situation is he has infused a bit of truthful history. Without that truthful history, he wouldn't have been able to make these movies. That's just how it is, yeah. But we know that Quentin Tarantino does a good job at making things even bigger, brighter, better, whatever, than what they actually are. That's what movie directors do. None of us know what happened back then, but he had the history that he had, and he played off of it very well, in my opinion. So I think people who are really taking the side that this movie is racist, maybe you need to take some time to read about slavery, because slavery was about racism. What movie did you think you were going to see? That also leads me to one last point. The young lady that I went to go see this movie with is just as highly educated as I am. Very smart, very beautiful. One thing that we said that we could agree on here, and many people of different races can agree on this perhaps, but I know in my race, I find a lot of times when I get to a place and I'm young, I'm black, I'm successful, and I'm doing well, I find that a competition begins against other people who might look like me. But they might have Uncle Tom-esque or Uncle Ruckus-esque beliefs. So to them, they're better than me. And why am I here? And why did I have the right to be here? So Samuel L. Jackson did a really, really good job of playing that part and showing how when Django did come in, he was automatically like trying to make sure that he got in trouble, or he was reduced back down to just the lowly level of a slave, even to the end. Why? Because he couldn't take another black man, or another N-word, as the movie says, being as high as him or higher. And I find that a lot in my life, unfortunately. Maybe you all can chime in on this discussion below. But I thought that this movie captured that perfectly. The Uncle Ruckus spirit was alive and well in this movie. So if you really want to see a good movie, get some good laughs, but also some good cries, because certain things like the actual dog scene, y'all know what I'm talking about. The dog scene was pretty bad. Certain things as such as the mistreatment, the beatings, the whippings, all of that was pivotal points in this movie. Then you're going to get a good piece or chunk of history. Yet some things are just too much, but it's Quentin Tarantino. It's entertainment. Take it or leave it. Beautiful brown baby doll.